Hello, everyone. I'm a little bit early today. I noticed that these streams go a little bit longer, so I was like, let me just pop in 10 minutes early. I won't answer any of the questions though. I'll just say what's up to everybody once as you all pop in. Let me go live on YouTube. This is just Twitch for now. Hello, everyone. Should be live on both now. Got about 10 minutes before we legitimately start, so I won't answer any questions or anything, but what's up, everybody? What's up? See you, Notch Falk. How do I pronounce it? Am I saying that right? Is it Nacht Falk? Nacht Falk? Asmodi. Gonna wait till until actually like 12 p.m. before I start answering questions, just so people don't miss anything. But what's up? Good morning. Well, for me it'll be afternoon, but it's morning for 8 more minutes. All right, let's see. Everything looks like it's working. Yes, East Coast. Ah, Night Falcon. Ah, okay. Got it. How's everybody doing? I am having an excellent day so far. I'm catching up on these ship reviews, and it's been a lot of work. Should be able to get 2 ship reviews out today. Um, both the 600i and the 890 jump. We'll see. If I could get both of those out today, I'm doing great, but we'll see. Let me try something real quick. I'm glad you caught me live too. Part of the reason I do these at 3 different times throughout the week is so that maybe depending on your time zone or whatever, uh, people can catch me like either the Saturday one is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, then this one is at 12 p.m. On Wednesdays, and then the Monday one is at 5 p.m. So depending on your time zone, it might be easier to catch one or the other. That's why I try to stream at 3 different times. Get these questions up. Let's see. Hey, Ray. All right, we got some questions in here. Okay. Let's see. That's one. And then we need the other one. All right, we're gonna start up. Look at that! I got a $5 donation. Look at that. Thank you so much. That is, it's always so interesting to me when people like send money because I'm like, I would do this for free. Like, it's I mean I do want to eventually like become a full-time YouTuber, but it's never like a required thing. I mean, when people like send money and become members and things like that, it's always like really cool because it makes me think like I must be creating something that people really care about. If people are willing to spend money on it when they could just not spend money and just watch it for free. Um, so now uh, now I'm just trying to focus on making sure that if you're paying for this channel, it's worth it, and just trying to create good content. Yes, you will see a lot of ship reviews until CitizenCon because I am behind, and I said I would finish all the ship reviews by CitizenCon, and I intend to do that. So a lot of ship reviews, but then afterward, I think it's gonna get real interesting for the channel. Not to mention, I should be getting my camera lens. Well, I got the camera already. I should be getting my lens today or tomorrow, depending on whether the gods of the FedEx and UPS universe decide that they're going to give it to me. And as soon as I get that camera, what you see will improve because right now I am using a Logitech Brio and it is not up to snuff. But this will be a legit camera. So, all right, let me see if this works. Oh, does that work? Yes. Did we just go black? Aha! That does work. All right, let me try it one more time. All right. That's cool. So I can turn the screen. Oh, I do have a sinister laugh. Thank you. I don't know if that was meant to be a compliment, but I love it. I have a range of laughs. My laughs suit my mood. But yeah, I had to go run and do something, so I didn't know if I could like turn the screen off. I know I could turn it. Yes, you did make it to the live. Yeah, I didn't know if I could turn the screen off or not. But it is officially 12, and I know I'm out of breath because I just ran. But yes, let's get this started by answering some questions. Let's see. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. And thank you, Mary, for the donation. That is, like I said, every time somebody gives money, I'm just like, wow. Like you could just watch for free and you gave money. So that's like really cool to me. Let's get to these questions though, because we ran out of time last time. We had a lot of questions. And if you have questions, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, just put question in front of it so that I could pull it out. Just put question in front of it, and then I'll look through and find the ones that say question in front, and then I'll answer those questions too. We normally stream for an hour. We haven't managed to keep it to an hour yet, but today we're going to try to do that so I could get some more of these ship reviews out. So we'll see. All right, so we got some member questions. I'll answer one, and then I'll go to the subscriber questions, and then I'll come back to the rest of these. Let's see what we got. Okay, so from Paragon Fang Zen, what role importance do you see missiles taking in the future? Come release, what do you expect, or what you like to see? What would you like to see from how the game treats missiles and torpedo gameplay balancing? I think missiles are going to be... I think missiles should hit more than torpedoes. And I think they should be something that worries a player, but doesn't completely throw everything off. And what I mean by that is, I guess that means I want missiles and torpedoes obviously should behave differently. You know, torpedoes should be slower, but missiles should be like, if we're in a dogfight and you shoot missiles, it should be to where I have to break contract, lawyer speak. It should be break contact, right? Like, I shouldn't be able to still focus on you and get away from the missiles. I should have to break contact, then do my countermeasures and everything to get away from the missiles, and then re-engage. And if I don't do that, I should get hit by the missiles. And I think that's the way it should work, because sometimes I would want to shoot off missiles, not because I'm necessarily trying to hurt you with the missile. I mean, obviously, if I'm shooting a missile, I'm trying to hurt you a little bit. But what I mean is, sometimes I'll need to shoot off a missile in SCM mode while we're dogfighting, have you try to escape those missiles, and then I hop into, to nav mode while you're fighting off that missile, and then I escape. And that should be like part of the gameplay. With torpedoes, it should be a little bit different. You should have to still, kind of dodge a little bit the way like you do with the missiles. But I think for more of that, it should require way more countermeasures to trick a torpedo than it does to trick a missile. So I think it shouldn't be as simple as like, oh, I popped off a few countermeasures, so the missile's not going to hit. And it's the same thing with torpedoes. It shouldn't be that simple. You should have to evade. You should have to dodge. It should trick it a little bit, maybe take it off course, but it should still be able to like regain it if you just like popped a flare and then moved off, or whatever you popped, as far as your countermeasures. So I think what I expect them to do is make it fun, really. Missiles are not as big of a part of the game, as far as PvP at least, as it should be, and missiles are extremely important to this game. I mean, yes, it's fun to dogfight, but like missiles really change the way people dogfight. Like a properly placed missile should be able to end a fight. It should be like the knockout punch, you know, like any, you know, they say when you're boxing, right? One punch, all it takes is one punch, and then you could win the fight. Like and that's kind of the X factor, and I think missiles in this game should kind of be the X factor. All right, moving on. All right, this one's from Ryan McCurdy, 81. No, I said it right. Ryan McCurdy, 81. Do you think that they will fix the collisions when using the Atlas? At present, I use it for offloading only and a max lift for loading, as I have had my ship go through the roof of my hangar. Yes, they will fix collision, but you're also speaking to the point of why I don't play Star Citizen as much right now, because I think I'm at a point now where like I've played enough of the game to know that I love the game. At this point, I don't need to play it to know that I love it. I just need to play it just to have fun. So at this point, you know, I'm playing for fun, and right now it's not as fun to me because I can't use all of my little doohickeys. So I have look, I can actually show you because I took it off. So here you go, exclusive. This is my my left thingy. This is a Constellation Alpha Prime with the Z mount, and this is my little setup here. And then on this thing, let's see if I can reach it. I have, okay, fix the hair. I have this thing here. Oh wait, how do I get it in the frame? So this thing sits here when I play. So this is kind of a, so this is my, you know, front, left, forward, you know, all that. And then it has this thing, which is supposed to be able to move me, but it doesn't really work that well. So, but I don't mind because I mainly got it for this. And then, of course, this is to fly with and shoot vehicles, and to drive vehicles with. And then, let me show you my other one, which is this one. All right, so this is my right stick, and these are both mounted to my chair. And this one, I don't know what I'm gonna put here yet, but it's probably just gonna be a mouse, because that just makes sense. But I might have something else on there. And I need to get some little guardrails so stuff doesn't fall on the floor. But that's a little mini tour of like my setup. A lot of this is stuff that I try to set up and keep setting up, and I also have like a Tobii eye tracker, a Stream Deck. I use Game Glass. Yeah, I have a pretty cool setup. I've been building this setup for, what is it, 6 years, 7 years. At some point I decided I wasn't going to just oh, Arcane, what's up? Sorry, I get easily distracted. At some point I decided I wasn't just gonna buy spaceships anymore. So I started investing into my actual gear for playing Star Citizen, and the more I invested in the gear, the more I realized, like, oh, I probably shouldn't have spent so much on spaceships. I probably just should have just invested in the gear. And how does this relate to that question that was asked? Well, it relates because that's why I'm not playing as much, because when you use all of this gear, yes, you can set it up well, but like I keep running into issues where something resets, or it didn't save correctly, or it's not picking up all of my joysticks, or when it picks up the joysticks, it picks them up in the wrong order, so I have to reset it. And it's just, I'm at the point now where I don't have time for that. I don't have time to keep fixing that stuff. Yes, you can make it work, but I will wait until the game is more stable. Right now, I will just play with a mouse and keyboard, and that's it. I used to have 2 Thruster Master sticks, and I used to play with that. But it was same issue, you know, you got to reset stuff, and I'm tired of that. So I will wait till the game is a lot more stable before I get into it. But part of the reason I bought that stuff is because I want to really start learning the fundamentals of the game. And right now, it seems like a lot of the fundamentals are changing. Like master modes isn't completely solid yet. So right now isn't the time. I thought it was. I thought when master modes came, that was going to be the time to like go and do my arena commander mode. Like I haven't even earned the caterpillar pirate or the what's the other pirate one? I can't even think of the oh man, what was the other one? What's the other pirate one? Oh, the Gladius, Pirate Gladius. Yes. Uh, yeah, I haven't even earned those yet because I refuse to do those. Even though like I've made it to like the final level, but then I just like shut it off because like I want to earn those with my sticks. Like it's a part of the experience for me, and it's we always talk about like what do you want to do in game? Like if you buy all the ships, what are you gonna earn in game and stuff like that. Well, I'm not buying all the ships. I bought a lot of ships. I think my current count is like 22 ships. Uh, and we'll see if that goes down or if it stays. There's some few ships coming out. If you look at the leaks and stuff, I don't really talk about the leaks, but I don't see anything that's gonna change my fleet. But you never know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think my fleet's pretty solid. There's one addition that I know for sure is coming, but outside of that, it's pretty solid. So it's the time to buy gear. And I would tell anybody who's like keeps buying spaceships, like buy like 3 or 4 spaceships, that have like different, I would say different roles. And then spend the rest on your gear, man. Because like using those when those were working, like the Constellation Alpha Primes, when they were working, man, you could feel the difference. Like being able to just push the throttle, so the Z mount thing that I showed you, that thing is so I can like push the throttle forward with the stick attached and leave it. And then my ship just keeps going forward or whatever. And I know you could just get a HOTAS. What's the one? Yeah, the one that comes with the throttle, hand on throttle and stick, right? I think that's what HOTAS stands for, right? So you could just get a throttle, but that is so much better because I can use it as a throttle and use it as a stick, and that's why I went with that setup. So, but it's a completely different experience. So. Yeah, I want to play that way. I want wherever I get in the ship, I want it to feel like I'm a little bit in the ship, not completely, but like in the ship a little bit. I got to get my Toby eye tracker better as well because my eye tracker, it's like I don't want it to follow my eyes. I think I just want it to use it for head tracking because when it follows my eyes, it's like all over the place. But if it follows my head, it just seems like it moves a little bit softer. So I have to do that. All right. That was a very long explanation for one question. But if you've been watching these streams, this is just how it goes. How have your fleet choices changed with the upcoming engineering? They haven't. So I always knew engineering was going to come, so I didn't really need to change my fleet knowing that engineering was coming. My fleet has always been based off of future NPC usage and future AI blade usage. So, whether I want to be able to put blades in my turrets, higher quality obviously is more accurate or whatever. And then I want all my other roles to be filled with human beings. I want them to be able to go and get in the seats and do all the other functions of the ship. And I just want to be the captain. Like I don't necessarily want to fly my ship all the time or whatever, but I want to be the captain. I want to be running things like who should we focus on? This is the target. This is where we're going. Things like that. And because that's the experience that I want out of Star Citizen. Now, I do have some fighter ships. I have a F7A. I have a F8C. I have, and I have what else? I don't know what my fleet is currently looking like. But I think those might be the only 2 that I have that are like fighter ships, like ships that can fight. And the F7A, that's just staying in the fleet just because it took too much to earn that. If you did the Overdrive Initiative, then fighting through all those bugs and stuff like that, the F7A is staying. I know the Mark IIs are probably gonna hit at Star Citizen, or at CitizenCon, but yeah, I'm keeping mine. I have a CCU though, so in case one of those is like really amazing, My thoughts are the not the tracker, but the Ghost, the Mark II Ghost. I'm thinking is going to be my favorite of the three. The Super Hornet might be pretty cool too. The Mark II Super Hornet might be cool too, but I'm thinking the Ghost is going to be where it's at. Um, and I don't have any stealth ships right now, so we'll see. But no, my fleet hasn't changed much. The engineering, I think I already knew that was coming, so I was ready for it. Next question. Should CIG add the crappy Atlas to every large ship sold? Okay, you don't like the Atlas. Now, I think at the initial release of the Atlas, I would have agreed with you. But with the upgrades they've made to it, I think it's actually really awesome. I sat and watched, oh man, now I'm forgetting his name. Oh my goodness. But I was watching the Soul Citizens. I was on the Soul Citizens channel, and I was watching one of the Soul Citizens play with the Atlas for like a good hour or so. And the way they were using it made it seem like this really amazing tool. And the way they explained it to me was that, you know what, I'm going to get their name because I don't like leaving people's names out of stuff. Let's see if I can get that. But yeah, the way they explained it to me, they preferred it using it. And this is a person that does cargo stuff all the time. And they was like, they heavily prefer it over the, over the MPUV. And I thought that was weird because I was like, wouldn't the MPUV just be the better tool in general because it could just float and move things and stuff like that? But it's just, I guess the Atlas is just, it's the way that it's currently balanced out is just the best platform for moving stuff. Now, it could be balanced down and stuff like that. You know, it is Star Citizen. But no, I don't think they should include one with every ship. Maybe with some very large ships. You know, maybe include one. I mean, it's an Argo ship, or it's an Argo platform. So I would assume that a larger Argo ship would have one, but Argo doesn't have a large cargo ship. They, I mean, outside of the raft, and the raft can't fit it. So I would say whatever they come up with above the raft, if they have, you know, something bigger than that. Then maybe, or I mean, they could just put it on a hook, right? Like they could just add a hook underneath the raft and then just have it dangling underneath. That would be pretty cool. But no, I don't think they should add it to every ship. If anything, add it to an Argo ship or the largest Argo ship that comes out, you know, have that be something like a reason to get the Argo variant of a cargo ship rather than something else. But no, I wouldn't add it to every large ship. I do think they do need to, like they need to get back to including ships with other ships. Because one of the things I noticed is they were doing that for a while and they kind of stopped. Like I just did the 400i video and I'm like, why doesn't the 400i come with an X1? It doesn't make any sense. Like all of the other Origin ships, the larger Origin ships come with something, and you literally gave it a dedicated bay and then you didn't give the X1. That's weird. At the very least, there should be an always available pack for it. Like every time you sell the 400i, you should be selling a pack that comes with the 400i and the X1 at a discounted price. Just makes sense to me, CIG, but I don't know. You know, I'm just a YouTuber. All right, let's go back to my other questions. And if you didn't know, before every post, I try to do it the day before. I put up a post on the community tab of the YouTube channel, and you can go there. There's one for members that's dedicated to members, and then there's one that's dedicated to subscribers. And so I put those up so that you can go and ask questions just in case you can't make the stream. So essentially it'll be like I answer those questions first, and then I go to the chat and answer those. Let's see what's going on. You answered what the one ship you pledged would be, F8C, but you said that was different than your favorite ship. What is your favorite ship in all of Star Citizen? Right now, they said theirs is the Valkyrie. My favorite, I'm going to go with my favorite currently released ship. Here, let me open this up real quick because I have lists. Oh, also, I was supposed to go and get that person's name. Did I go get it? No. Let me see if I can pull their name out. I don't know if it's in there. Ah, here we go. Why is it not showing me their names? Well, I don't know what's going on. I can't see their names on Discord. I wanted to say the name of the person, but at some point I'll remember it, and then I'll mention it in a random video. Yeah, but going back to the question, my favorite ship, I think that requires a very, very long conversation, but I'm gonna try to keep it short because I don't want to I don't want to go crazy. If I'm going released ships, it's probably the 600i, just because of what it can currently do. But I don't want to say that and exclude the A2. So those are my two that come to mind. Those are the two that like I wouldn't mind flying every time I go out. The 600i, because it has the 3 size 5s, which if they nerf it, we riot. But also because it has this weird, and I'm reviewing the 600i right now, so this is like perfect timing. It has this weird thing where it is both tough and fast and maneuverable for its class. It's not maneuverable overall. It's a huge, gigantic ship, but it's also maneuverable for its class, like well maneuverable for its class. And like so it can shoot, it's tough, and it's maneuverable, and it's fast. It's like I feel like it feels like a little bit of a cheat code sometimes, because it's like it's not supposed to be all of the things, right? Like it feels like it should be less of one of those things, but it's just got a lot going for it. And also I think the only thing I'm more excited for than the Banu Merchantman is the 600i rework, because I think post rework the 600i is going to be the best ship in Star Citizen. And I say that knowing that there's people who hate that egg shape and who prefer the 890 jump or the 400i. Hey, to each their own. But being able to put to stealthily put a tank inside of a luxury ship that's also like an explorer, like I need amenities on my ships. I'm sorry. This is part of the reason that me and Drake don't get along as well, because I need amenities. And Origin is great for the amenities. Now, RSI is coming up. So Origin, you better be on the lookout, because RSI is putting in work. But yeah, and the A2, I talk enough about the A2. I have a whole video about the A2. The A2 it's underrated and overrated. It's overrated because people think that it's just like this destruction machine that cannot be defeated, which it is not. However, if they drop a gigantic bomb on your base, hey, it is what it is. Like that can happen. But it's underrated in the fact that people are like, it's $750. You don't have to pay $750 for that ship. I don't know anybody who's paid $750 for that ship. The most I've ever seen anybody pay for it is $700, which they just didn't care, and they had a lot of money. Most people I know have spent $600 or less on that ship. And they do that through doing the CCU game, upgrading from other ships and buying CCUs, so on and so forth. Even I know people who've bought credits for half price and then purchased it for full price, right? So they bought, $375 worth of credits from somebody, or they bought $750 worth of credits from somebody, and they only spent $375 to make that purchase, and then they used all $750 credits to purchase the A2. So there's ways to spend less on this ship, and I think if you use those ways, then it becomes one of the best ships in the game. I mean, the pilot control weapons on it, the only thing it's missing is a med bed, which it no longer is, because now you can fit a tank and an Ursa on it. So you got the best of both worlds. You can put both of those things on it at the same time. You can put an Atlas on it if you really want to do cargo with it. It's just extremely versatile, having that gigantic cargo bay at the bottom, but also having the ability to basically blow anything up that's on the ground, and having all those freaking turrets, all those remote turrets, which I love. I love remote turrets. I don't like man turrets. Why would I ever have a man turret when I could do a remote turret and not put my people at danger? And then have everybody just kind of sitting in the room talking crap to each other and shooting. It's awesome. And the recreational little area it has and everything. It's awesome. It's awesome. So you take your pick. If I had to only pick one, right now it's going to be the A2, because the A2 is pretty much done. It's going to get its bombs in the future. It's carpet bombs. That's really all we're waiting on. But right now it's the A2, but when that rework happens, it's going to be the 600i, and everybody's just going to be fighting for second. So, yeah. Let's see. We're about 26 minutes in. We're making good time because we're almost done with the questions. The previously written questions, and then we can get to everything in the stream. Let's see. Are you a bigger fan of arcadey flight models, sim flight models, or do you desire hard sci-fi flight models? So arcadey is the slow, like World War II dogfights, high time to kill, and then sim is faster with medium time to kill and artificial limitations to simulate relative motion. And then let's see, hard sci-fi, extremely long range engagements, determining skill is position and strategy rather than twitch reflex. Out of the three that you said, I prefer the sim flight. But for me, it's more about, there's three things that I need when I'm flying a ship. I need it to look cool while I'm flying it, because that's like flying in Star Citizen. I know people who literally just go and fly around. They don't shoot anything, they don't do anything. The flying part has to be magnificent. It has to look magnificent while I'm flying it. At the very least, in third person mode, it has to just look magnificent. So that's one thing. When I'm and then the second thing is, I need the weapons to feel like they're actually hitting. I need the weapons to feel like they matter. When I shoot this, obviously if I'm shooting a size 1 weapon at a javelin, obviously that shouldn't have the same feel. But like if I'm shooting a size 5, weapon at a Connie, I should feel like boom. I should feel that boom when it hits. And you can't really get that with long range engagements, which is why I wouldn't go for like the hard sci-fi thing, because I want to see that. I want to see the effect I'm having on the other ship, even though I do think that would probably be more realistic as far as like what space combat would be in the future. But I want to see it, and that's part of why it's a video game, right? Like I want to see the action, right? But also the 6 degrees of freedom thing, and this is like a constant thing that I hear people talk about. That is very important to this game. So whatever we need to get that into the game, I think that's the biggest thing. So those are my 3 things. I need the 6 degrees of freedom. I need to feel like I'm in the action, and I need the ship. I need the combat to look good. I need the ship to look good while it's flying. And as far as like the controls, I should have enough ability to change my controls to make them what I want them to be. It shouldn't necessarily be that I'm stuck with whatever they give me, right? So I should be able to go, oh, like, I want to dampen this, or I want this to work faster, or this to work slower, or this to be higher, or this to be lower. And that's how I feel like the rest of it should work. Let's see. Ooh, we got a lot of activity in this chat. At least we do on YouTube. Okay. All right. All right, I think I got one more question, and then we can get to the chat questions. Again, make sure that if you have a question, you put question in front of it. We're 30 minutes in, so we got 30 minutes more to go. If you have a question for me, just put question in front of it and then say your question. All right, let's go to this last one, which was, are there any ships you think would be better suited to a different profession? For example, while I love the Valkyrie, I think it would make an even better medevac vehicle than a troop deployment vehicle. Just take the 2 rooms lined with drop seats and swap them out for a size 3, the small one, a small size 3 bed each. Bam, you have hermetically sealed medbed chambers in a vehicle that can fit 5 crew and a medical Ursa. I do like that idea. I do think CIG is learning, like, it's better to create a variant than it is to create a whole new ship, because it's just less work. So I do think we will start to see more variants pop up. I think we already are going to see more. I think at this CitizenCon, we're going to see at least 2 variants to already, created ships, or ships that look, if it's a new ship, it's going to look incredibly similar to an older ship, because you're going to be able to see that they reused parts. But the Terrapin, I think, is the best example of that. And it's the same thing you said here. The Terrapin, I think, would make an excellent search and rescue ship. Doesn't need the living quarters. Turn the living quarters into a medical bed, a tier 3 medical bed. Turn the scanner seat into a drone deployment thing that can, send a drone out and bring people back. Kind of the same way, I would say it should be like a step up from the C8R, right? Where it has the bed, and it has like the little station for healing and stuff, and some space for medical supplies. But the addition is that now it has a drone that can be operated, from that middle seat or whatever, to bring patients in or whatever, like a medical drone, a medical bed, and then, and have that section on the side, where the door is, widen that up and have that be able to bring a full bed in. That would work perfectly. I'll give you 3 here. What else could be better suited? I would love to see a battle 890. I would love to see an 890 jump that is just like everything is battle stations, But at the same time, I wonder, like, what would you even fill that ship with? It would basically then be becoming like a baby Idris, so to speak. But I think I would love it. I would love for it to be like, I don't want to say submarine, but I want it to be stealthy. Like if I had an 890 jump that was like kitted out for battle, I would want that to be the stealthy capital ship. Like you won't know that it's coming until it's like already there. And I think submarine when I think of it, but I feel like there's another ship that's probably closer to submarine. But right now I'm thinking of Battle 890 being like the stealthy capital, where it has, all of its components are stealth, and by the time it hits you or it shoots those torpedoes at you or whatever, it would be really cool. And then one more. Let's see. I would love to see. I'm gonna give you a weird one, because this is my stream. I can do what I want. I want the Nautilus, the Aegis Nautilus, to be a science ship. I want a version of the Aegis Nautilus that is a science ship where you can deploy science drones out of the back rather than deploying mines, right? So the rest of the ship is like built for science and stuff like that, and then out of the back of this thing, you can, whatever drones you brought with you, whether it's like, mining drones, that not like mining for like to sell, but mining to get like little pieces of information, and maybe some of those, maybe some drones that have like telescopes or whatever. I don't know, whatever you would need on those. And I would love to be able to take that down to a planet or take it out in space and study whatever it is through drones from inside the Nautilus. But then have the Nautilus still have all its same stuff, except maybe you replace some of the guns with scanners and stuff like that. I think that would be cool, because I think a lot of people are not going to buy the Nautilus. As much as I love that ship, I own a Nautilus, and I will. It's in my forever category. There's a few ships in my forever category that I'm not melting, and the Nautilus is one of those. But I would love to see that ship get a second variant, because I think I love the looks of that ship, and I just think it's kind of going to go to waste because a lot of people just won't be interested in mining gameplay at all. So, mine laying gameplay. All right, that is all the questions. So let's go to the live stream questions. All right, what do we got? Let's see. All right. Let me go to my stream. Okay. 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 Make sure everything's muted. All right. There we go. All right, let's see. Who do we got questions in here? I don't see a lot of questions. I see a lot of talking though. Let's see what people are talking about. Let's see. What is your favorite? Make sure you put question in front of the questions. Let's see. What is your favorite or feel is the best light fighter in the game? Ooh, it depends on what you need it for, really, because I think there's kind of three categories for light fighter, right? One, like what I think a light fighter should be is a ship that can also fit into another ship, but is a solid ship on its own. Whereas like a snub fighter is not really supposed to be like a solid ship on its own. It should be an extension of the ship that it is a snub coming from, right? So like, if I get a Fury, that is a great, like, it's like a mobile turret, right? So for a ship that has maybe one less turret than it should have, I would put the Fury in it, right? But if I needed something like a little bit more faster and maneuverable that was closer to a light fighter than a snub, then I would get the Razor, right? Because that is like, it kind of straddles the boundary between snub and light fighter. And then if I want like the full-fledged, like just best experience as a straight up light fighter, then I would probably get the Talon. But the problem with the Talon is the Talon doesn't fit in anything because those wings are just gigantic. So if I'm picking one that I can only fly, and it's a standalone, and it's the only, and it won't be able to fit in anything or whatever, it would probably be the Talon, just because it's beautiful, it's fun to fly, the guns are decent, the maneuverability, it's got a lot going for it. The base Talon though. But if I'm choosing one based on like versatility and what I think a light fighter is meant to be, it's probably going to be the Razor, because it can fit into so many other ships and I could take it with me so many places without needing a full-on carrier to bring it with me. So if I can only own one, and it's my only ship that I'll be able to use as a light fighter. It's the Talon. But if I'm gonna add one to my fleet, it's probably gonna be the Razor, and I mean the Razor EX specifically because it has the stealth and it's such a tiny ship, and being able to be that tiny and be stealthy and have weapons, yeah, that thing is gonna be a problem. If it's already a problem for a lot of people, but it's gonna be even more of a problem once all the scanning game, everything's balanced out, and stealth components are actually doing what they're supposed to. That ship's gonna be a problem. Let's see. Can we get more info about how the Polaris turrets or auto turrets will work? Also, are they ballistic? I'm confused. I don't know much about the Polaris turrets. From what I know, I have a whole little document that I use for the Polaris. I own a Polaris, and I did review it. So I have a little document on it. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull my doc. All right. Spam call from Pennsylvania. Let's see. Where's my documents? My documents are here. I can just type this in. All right. All right. What did I have? I think I had them as laser repeaters and cannons. Yep, that's what I got them as. I got them as laser repeaters and cannons, so I don't think they're ballistic. I do think they're gonna get upgunned because they talked about that a while back about the Polaris getting better guns. We just don't know exactly what that's gonna look like. Maybe some of the leaks and stuff are talking about that. I don't know. But I know that it's gonna get upgunned. I think it's man, I cannot remember how many turrets that thing has. I think it has like 4 or 5 man turrets, and I think those are like size 3s. Like, no, there's like some size 3s, some size 4s, and some size 5s, I think. And then there's like 2 remote turrets. But yeah, it's got a lot of turrets. But I'm more excited about those size 10 torpedoes. So let's see. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be ballistic. Let's see. They ruined the game with master modes. It's not done yet. Neither the game nor the master modes is done yet, so I can't really say they ruined it yet. I do think they have a lot of work to do, though. Let's see. Shipping. Oh yeah, shipping from China will take ages. Oh yeah. Let's see. I looked up WinWing. I used to see somebody talking about WinWing. They didn't have what I specifically needed, but they did look decent. Buy ships in game gives reason to play. Yeah, there's other things to buy in game though. And you know, I didn't buy every ship, right? Like, I don't have a Javelin. I don't have an Idris. Those are things I want to earn in game. I don't have an 890. But I will say the only reason I don't have an 890 though is because I don't have the ability to get one with LTI, because I might get one otherwise. But at the same time, my original plan for that was to upgrade my 600i, and now I much rather have my 600i. So there's a chance that even if I did have the opportunity to get an LTI, I wouldn't get it. So there's that. But those are 3 gigantic ships that I plan on earning in game. A Kraken privateer, like what else? Some other ships at that high range. A hammerhead. I have no intention of ever buying a hammerhead, but I want to own one because I think it will be great for, like, keeping those tiny ships away once it's balanced and stuff, right? So there's tons of ships that I can still purchase in game, and mind you, buying a javelin is going to take a ton of time. Like, buying a javelin is going to be, a year long, well, maybe not a year, maybe like 6 months to make the amount of money that's required to buy a javelin. So I'd rather spend my money on ships that I would like to immediately use to make that money to purchase the javelin, rather than like starting with an Aurora and earning everything in game. You can do that. It'll take you a lot longer, but I don't have that much time. I am not a young spring chicken anymore. I'm not a 18-year-old with, well, I guess it was probably a little bit older. I'm not like a 15-year-old with tons of time on my hands, like, and I have less time and more money, whereas the 15-year-old has more time and less money, and I think that's how you balance that out. But yeah, I also don't intend for all my money to go towards ships. Like, I am going to be a titan of industry. I want to have the best science business, the best construction business. I want to be building outposts. I got bigger plans than ships. Like, ships are like cars in the real world. Like, they're great. They're nice to have, right? And maybe I'll own a lot of them, but I'm only going to own those after I own a house. I'm only going to own those after I own a business, after I own, like, ships are cars, nice to have, nice to look at, nice to drive. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. You have to rebuy the ship for the pirate paint? Oh, well, probably won't be getting that. But then again, those I wouldn't be buying those to keep. I would be buying those to give away, if you can give it away anyway. I don't even know if you can, but or I would just be buying it. I would buy the ship if I owned a Caterpillar, but I don't have a Caterpillar in my fleet. I might end up owning one in the future, but I don't currently own one. And also, I don't think you're right. You have to rebuy it, but I also think you can't upgrade to get the pirate version. So that means you can't even add LTI to it unless you do the weird nomad thing. So yeah, I probably won't end up owning one. The same thing with the Gladius. The Gladius, however, though, I mean, the pirate paints wouldn't really be why I would do it. That's just kind of a goal, just a general goal to move towards. Let's see. Not a billionaire. I only own a Taurus. That's all you need. Taurus is one of the best ships in the game, if you ask me. I can't wait till I get to RSI so I can talk so much about the constellations. I don't currently own a constellation, but it's only temporary. I had the Phoenix Emerald, and I had to melt it for reasons. But that is not the end of my constellation journey. I will be back. So, stay tuned. Let's see. Love my F7A, love my F8C. I love it too. Let's see. Hello, Ubo. Oh yeah, if they start consistently taking guns away from the pilot, I just won't get those size ships anymore. I'll just, because the only reason I like some of these ships is because the pilot has so much access to the guns. So if they keep taking these away, on the previous stream we talked about the Corsair. It does look like that might actually be happening. So we'll see if it actually makes it in, because a lot of people are talking about how much they don't like it, and it's a PTU version, it's Evo, so we don't know what's actually going to make it to live. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good But yeah, this is part of the reason why I don't own small ships, folks. Like, this is part of the reason why, like, I limit the amount of small ships I own, because they're not out here tweaking the 600i downward. They're not out here tweaking the Carrack downward, tweaking the 890 jump downward. Those are only getting tweaked up. Whereas, like, all of the, like, mid-range and lower ships, you're living day to day based on balancing. Whereas I think the larger ships are just, they are going to be whatever they are going to be. So yeah, if they them tweaking the Redeemer didn't really bother me, because I wasn't like beholden to the Redeemer at all. Them tweaking the Corsair wouldn't particularly bother me, because I think the Corsair is best used with a full crew anyway. And them tweaking like the Connie, it wouldn't bother me either, because these are all ships that I would only fly if I have a decent crew anyway. Because yes, they're great. They have great pilot guns, but that's not what I would use it for. Like, I get that that's a use for it. I get that keeps you from having to stay where you're at, and allows you to kind of leave and go do things without having to get a crew together first. But that's not what their intended purpose is for me. For me, I need at least 3 people if I'm on either one of those ships. I need 3 people on a Connie, I need 3 people on a Corsair, and I need 3 people on a Redeemer. That's my minimum. If I don't have 3 people, I don't even want to get in those ships. I would pick something else. And so that's why them taking the pilot guns away doesn't bother me as much. Pilots were never supposed to have a crap ton of guns anyway. Like, that was never supposed to be a thing unless it was a few ships. Like, and in the Corsair, if I'm not mistaken, if it loses 2 guns, it would still have 4 size 5s controlled by the pilot. So that's still a lot of firepower going forward. But to be completely honest with you, it doesn't make sense to have the pilot have that many guns, because they're going to have to keep turning the ship to get their guns on target, which means that their turret gunners are not going to be on target. Now, if you don't have turret gunners, you don't care about that, which is kind of the point, right? Like, if you don't have turret gunners, you only care about putting the front of that ship on target. But if you have turret gunners, the pilot can't be focused on getting their guns on target. They need to get their turret gunners on target, or they need to split the difference and have some of their guns on target and some of their turrets on target. That's the way you fight in these ships. Now, you can choose to fight however you want, but they're making these ships more geared towards what I think they're supposed to be, the way they're supposed to work with the full crew, not necessarily with the solo player. Now, what I don't like is that they're changing this stuff so far after actually people purchasing the ships, right? And after, like, upping the price on some of these ships and stuff like that. But like I always say, if they change a ship, when you bought it, you knew it was alpha. When you bought it, you knew it could change. All of this is stuff that they say when you purchase the ships, right? But at the same time, CIG, you have to know that people are buying these for their current capacity. So it's kind of like, it still feels bait and switchy if you don't let people know, like, this ship, when they do their announcements, they should say this is what the role of this ship is more clearly, because I think they kind of fail in that sometimes. Even in the Q&As, sometimes they don't quite state what the specific role of the ship is. Because if they state the role of the ship, then when balancing changes come to make it better fit that role, nobody will care, because they clearly stated that this is the role of this ship. So, for instance, the Corsair is meant to be an explorer ship. It's not supposed to be a gunship. So people have been treating it like a single-player gunship, but that's never what its role was supposed to be. And they clearly stated that when you go look at anything dealing with the Corsair, that it's an explorer